Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. For this one, I would like to show one of my preferred playstyle, which is playing solo with a squad. This particular playstyle isn't really meant for everyone, especially if you're playing with randos. But if I notice my group is solid, and they're like all high level Helldivers, I usually go off on my own. Also, this isn't like an ego thing, it's more about efficiency. But I do have a rule regarding this. If I died 3 times in a row and I did nothing for the secondary or primary objectives, I now stick to the group. For this video, I'll just be adding my commentary on it. Typical Helldiver fashion, we landed during a bot drop. I took a quick sweep of the area to see where the bots are dropping and threw a walking barrage. The current loadout I'm using is one of my old favorites for the bot front. Explosive crossbow, anti-material rifle, and a jetpack, along with thermite for the tanks. If you drop in into a hot zone, immediately look for cover and call in your gear. I have my jetpack and I could easily just leave the area. But even if I have this solo mentality, I'm not just gonna leave my teammates behind, unless it's a blitz mission. Thanks to Mission Control's constant barrage regarding the enemy's artillery, that was a secondary objective that needed to be dealt with to lessen the pressure on the squad. Since I have both the explosive crossbow and the anti-material rifle, I excel at long range. Before I go into the objective, I try to pick off as much of the enemies I can. And when you go into the objective, be sure you are close to cover. Take advantage of both third and first person views. After I was done with the mortar emplacement, I noticed a group of gunships hovering over my squad. Even though I am far from them, I always try to help them in any way I can, whether it is doing secondary objectives that is a threat to them or relieving pressure off of them. I took a prone stance and started blasting. After that, I look at the minimap to check on the next objective. This part not really important, I just thought it was a really cool shot.
Outpost cleared. Calling down a sentry.
Now this is where my loadout will have some difficulties. This is when I'm up against the bigger and tankier enemy types such as the Factory Strider. For tanks, I usually just jetpack away unless they're in the way, so I just jetpack in, throw a thermite and run. So my way of dealing with Factory Striders is just to use my stratagems. Also keep in mind, the enemy can only reinforce one area at a time. A bot drop is sent to my area, so less pressure for my squad mates. At this time, it looked risky to go directly towards the objective, so I decided to go around it and enter at a different angle. Now I'm trying to make my push towards this automaton outpost. You could say I got extremely lucky because they were also destroying their own fabricators. This is an example that the game is not all about skills, sometimes it is just luck. And I had some good luck at this outpost. I highly recommend having that info tab on the top right to be always on because it can tell you how many objectives are left in that outpost. For example, for this one, I took a glance at the top right and it said I only have one fabricator left, so I threw my one remaining thermite at it and immediately left. And I looked back to see if I hit the fabricator.
Warning, you are in range of enemy artillery.
Now since I was low on supplies and the resupply was on cooldown, I went to the extraction area hoping for an ammo box or even a stim medical supply. Sadly, there were none. I checked the map and saw my squad mates call down a resupply. When I met with my squad mates, the supplies were gone, and I kindly asked for stims.
I need supplies. I need stims. Thank you.
Now, since I was low on supplies and we had a DC, I decided to stay with the group to do the main objective.
Mag's empty. New mag.
As we were pushing for the main objective, we were greeted with another familiar enemy artillery. Since the mortar emplacement is a hindrance for the evacuation, I made a selfish resupply and headed towards the mortar emplacement.
Warning, you are in range of enemy artillery.
After a short jog, all I needed was a good 500 kg. Also, don't do this, just stay in cover and assess what to do after the big boom. Since I'm already out here, might as well do the rest of the secondary objectives.
Requesting orbital.
And after having so many close encounters with death, a random jet trooper gunned me down. After being reinforced, I decided to go back to the mortar emplacement where I skipped due to having low supplies.
Allied destroyer joining squadron. Deploying Helldiver to combat zone. Enemy patrol, northwest.
It took me a while to find it since half of it was submerged underwater and was not active.
Objective critical stratagem no longer available. Enemy patrol, north.
Sending in an eagle.
Activating jump pack. New mag.
Requesting air support.
While I was doing the mortar emplacement, a fellow Helldiver joined us, but that caught the attention of a group of gunships.
Tagging map. Northwest, 200 meters.
After we have dealt with the ships, it was time to destroy the last outpost.
Freedom, triumphs over tyranny once more. The extraction shuttle awaits your request.
All that is left is waiting for extraction.
Dropping a pin. East, 200 meters.
I would like to add more regarding this playstyle. It's a good way of testing yourself without much risk, such as playing solo. You need to be creative when finding a solution for a problem, since you're the only one dealing with a problem. And this is just another fun way of playing Helldivers. Now, do I see myself actually playing a super Helldive solo mission? Probably not. I like having that safety net of playing with a squad, and at Super Helldive or difficulty 10, the randos pretty much know what they're doing. As I said earlier, there are times where I would cancel my solo attempts or branching off from the squad. One is dying 3 times in a row and not achieving any primary or secondary objective. The squad is having difficulties with the mission. And lastly, if I died and was reinforced far away from the objective that I was doing, and helped my squad mate that reinforced me. That's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful, and thanks for watching.